How's it going, y'all? Today I wanted to talk to you about a few algebra concepts, including domain and range, undefined um, expressions, and imaginary expressions. All right. So what does this mean? I'm bringing this up because I would say I probably never met a student who understood what all three of these mean. And that's because the teachers don't explain and the books don't either. So I just want to give you guys a quick example so you would not be in that boat. So first of all, domain and range. Let's look at our curve right here. It's supposed to be a U-shaped curve. Basically, it starts at 5 and it goes up on both sides. And what your domain um, represents is your, they want to know what interval your function goes from the left side to the right side. Basically, what's the left and right side boundaries of your curve, right? So on the left side, you can see that this thing's going to keep going up and left forever. So the domain is going to be negative infinity, right? The interval you're on. And it, of course, keeps going up and to the right forever and ever. So the right side interval is positive infinity. So you will say negative infinity to positive infinity is my domain and range. Is my domain. The range is similar, except it wants to know what's my lower and upper interval of this curve, right? So you can see your curve doesn't begin on the y-axis, the minimum, until 5. So 5 is the lower bound of your vertical interval. And of course, this thing keeps going up and up and up forever. So infinity is the upper bound. So that's domain and range, just in a nutshell, so that you know what they're saying when they say this, because I a lot of this terminology was never explained to me in high school or even in college. It's stuff I had to figure out on my own, which is really a shame. But that's something I just want you guys to know so that you're not in that you're not one of those students like not getting the terminology because no one ever told you. By the way, I should fix this. Uh, this should probably be a closed interval here. 5 is a part of your curve. Open interval, you never reach infinity, right? So that's got to be an open interval. You never actually reach infinity, but for the 5, that's part of your curve limit. Okay, so that was domain and range. Let's check that off. Undefined expressions. So this is another thing that's not really ever explained clearly. An undefined expression just means that there's a fraction or a rational expression, and there's a certain value of x where your denominator equals 0. In math, you're not allowed to make your denominator 0. If you do, it's called an undefined expression. So in this case, quantity 5x plus 2 divided by x squared is undefined when x equals 0. That's all it's saying. What is x? What has to be the value that makes my denominator 0 when x equals 0? That's all. That's all there is to it. Just set your denominator equal to 0. That x value makes that expression undefined. Okay, imaginary expressions. All this means is that the expression inside under your integral is negative, right? So your integral can't be negative. You can't take the square root of a negative number. It can be 0, it can be positive, but did I say integral? I'm sorry. I mean radical. The value inside of your radical can't be negative. It can be 0, it can be positive, but it can never be negative. So all you're saying here for an imaginary expression, what what value of my radicand am I not allowed to have, right? What value of my radicand is less than 0? So you could just say x minus 3 is less than 0. Obviously, x equals 3 would make your radicand 0, but less than 0, that's just saying any values where x is less than 3 will give you a negative number. So those would be, I'm sorry, yeah, give you a negative radicand. which means you have an imaginary expression, right? It becomes an imaginary number. So I just wanted to make the terminology, the definitions of the terminology, that common algebra 2, algebra 1 terminology clear for you guys, so that you at least understand what they're talking about, because really half of the problem, maybe even 80% of understanding what they're saying, right? What they're talking about, what they want you to actually solve, and the rest is just knowing the procedure and how to get to the solution. All right. If you guys have any problems with that, let me know. Leave a comment. Other than that, thanks, and I'll see you on the next video.